Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the apocalypse. And today, you can see behind me, we got something new to talk about. All right, guys. So what we've got here is a 98 EK hatchback. You know what? Is this a DX? I didn't even think to ask. There's a funny story with this car. And I told you guys there might be something new on the channel. Yeah, no, I don't see anything. I'm sure it's a DX. It's a 5-speed silver hatch. Back up. It's in kind of rough shape right there, just like they all are up here in New England. I haven't been posting in about a week. And in that week, I already bought one of these things. I bought a 2000 hatchback. That was the original car that I said, I got a surprise for you. And I went around 35 miles from here, bought it cash, drove it home. It was a 2000. The thing was complete. It had the factory Honda stereo with the factory CD player. It had the factory rear decorator lid that they never have. This one does not have, of course. It was just complete. So I said, you know what, this car, I bought it cheap, like I like to do, just like I bought this one. And I just relisted it and said, you know, hey, this whole car's together. It's a whole car, it's a 2000, it's the last year these things were any good. It's a hatchback with a 5-speed, and I got a ton of hits. And I flipped it and tripled my money in 72 hours. So with that money, I bought this, and some other things. But I bought this. And I kind of want to clean it up and maybe see if I can do the same thing. I haven't done underneath it yet, and that's why I started the video first. I set up the lift arms and said, you know what, before I even look, let's turn on the camera. So fingers crossed, guys, that I hit another home run. The apocalypse has been hard on the wallet, as I'm sure it has been for everyone, and this could be a big help. Let's find out. All right, here we are, and I've got it up on the hoist. And at first glance, I'm like, all right, this isn't bad. It's got new Goodyears on it. I can see pretty new brakes from the backside. It's hard as my light gives a super glare, but anyways, those are like brand new brake pads. Somebody, you know, did what they had to do to get a year out of it, probably is my best guess, because this thing didn't rot overnight, and it certainly didn't rot even as bad as it is in 1 year. So let me show you what in New England takes a car right off the road, makes it just so it's not even worth fixing. That crack would be one of the first things, but that wouldn't be that big of a deal. Bumper cover and a new bumper. If you see there, it's just roached. So yeah, the bumper brace itself, which I know us tuner kids, we usually just get rid of that thing. It's extra weight. Legally, it's supposed to be there. We got some floor corner issue rust here. I peel that back. You know, any of these bolts would be damn near impossible to service currently. The subframe is what goes bad in these particular cars. Now, of course, if you're doing like a K-swap, this doesn't matter because you're going to put an EG or DC Integra or maybe like a Del Sol subframe in here. So that's really bad. But to be honest, the 2000 I dumped was the exact same condition. They took it off the road too. I said, you know, the subframe's bad. The guys that bought it said, you know, we don't care. We're going to do a K-swap. So I just got a ton of compression fittings and weirdo. I would never even use that thing there. But this is kind of what I was expecting to see for a $400 Civic. So that's the number we're talking about, guys. I got like less than $600 getting it home and everything in this car. So worst case scenario, I've got a parts car with a good single cam and a good 5-speed trans and a full interior. I'm definitely not losing money. I just don't know what I'm doing with this thing yet. I'm gonna try to hit a home run. I'm gonna clean up that bumper cover a little bit and get it reattached and just clean the mold and pine needles up out of the thing. I'm not gonna clean up any of the rust. I don't wanna try to hide anything. If anybody wants this, I want them to know exactly what they're getting, which will be either a project or a toilet in their backyard for God knows how long. I'll probably never get finished. And that's just the way these things are. No, I can't say that mine get finished. The problem with modifying a car, you guys, I should make something about as crystal clear as possible. there's no such thing as finished when you're talking about modifying a car. There's just the next modification. You know, you go from the rims to the air intake to the paint to the God knows what big brake kit. There's no such thing as an ending. The only way to have a complete ending to a build is to return it back to stock. That's it. I'm pointing at the Prelude. It looks like I'm pointing at the EP3. You get it back to the way it was, and that's the only car I have that's finished, you guys. That car is done. 100% has working air conditioning, H22 stock, 5-speed car. The one it's next to is the K24 swap EP3, and it runs and drives perfect also, but it's not finished. It'll never be finished. It needs a custom header, it needs an exhaust system, it needs an air intake, it needs all the jewelry you put on after you do a swap. So I just want to make that crystal clear. If you think there's a such thing as finished, guys, there's no such thing as finished. Something else I've been doing off camera is this is the old Prelude engine out of that white Prelude that has a piston skirt that just demolished one of the cylinder walls. So I've been a piece at a time taking this apart. The cams are out of it, and let me just show you. They're all inside of this guy here. That's got one of those, you can't tell I put all the covers back on already, but I got one of those Gates blue timing belts. This thing's balance shaft delete, H22. I'm probably going to do the valve lash today, get that out of the way, dump some oil onto the cylinder head to help me do that, and then that'll just make me feel better that there's at least fresh oil in there and it's not just assembly lube. That's a brand new head, if you guys can see. Brand new rebuilt, of course, but, and I got it that way. I have no idea who did it or how well it was done. It was just wrapped in plastic and tape and stuff, so I slapped it onto this block. This block has some eBay pistons in it and all new bearings and whatnot, and then also the balance shaft delete, which involves a little bit of tapping and installing some plugs and things of that nature. So first experience inside of one of these things, and we're going to see if it runs. I've got a car to put it in, another Honda Prelude, you know, for the sake of ease for this matter at this point. Let's just get this thing in the car it's supposed to run in and see how it runs. So yeah, start the valve lash and maybe bolt some more accessories from that motor over there onto this motor over here.
Yeah, is that fun? Scoot, 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 scoot. Does it sound different than it does in the water? Water. Scoot, 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 no water. Careful. This is so much fun in that big puddle. It's a deep puddle. What's a doggy barking at? Manson. Oh no, Dominic! Oh, jeez. What did I get for not paying attention for 1 second? Yeah, you just sit right in the puddle. It's gonna be cold now. We're gonna have to go inside.
All right, here we have the engine and transmission assembled. I'm waiting on a starter. See that hole there? I don't have the alternator, AC pump, a couple other small things, but really it's the starter to be able to get the engine afire. So it's just chilling here on this chain, basically ready to put in the car. I do have a header. I could probably put that on now too. I just try to get everything on the motor that I can get on the motor, including the wiring harness. So that way when I go to put it in, the car's not in here very well. So yeah, that's where we're standing with that. I'm kind of waiting. So this car, I posted back online for sale. I got a few hits. And, I don't know. These converters are worth a little bit of money, and this one's cracked. See that? So I was just coming around through my parts, and I was like, oh, I got this old D-Series header here. And this converter's got to be worth a little bit of money, even though, you know, it's like the end of the world. People are still buying these things. So I'm gonna get this thing out of here today. I just already pulled the heat shield here. Believe it or not, both those bolts came out, and the O2 sensor came unplugged. Yeah. All right, guys. Here we are. It's probably about a week later. I tinkered with this thing all week here and there, and I was waiting for the starter. So I've got the starter finally, and we're gonna pop that in today. I gotta get that bolt out of there so there's, you know, room for it. And then that will be officially ready to go in. The T-bracket's on. The even the lower little plate that mounts between the motor and transmission is underneath there. Yeah, it should be plug and play once it sets in the car. You know, maybe half a day of fiddling with it, and that should be a car. Today, I brought this thing back in, and I didn't film the rest of changing over to that header, but I did do that. I didn't hook the rest of the exhaust up yet, just because I never really planned to fix this car, and I'm still not really sure what I'm gonna do here. But I might fix it and keep it. It's just there's that eBay header. Now the only reason why I even did that was the converter was worth 150 bucks cash. So I've only got $585 in the car and a $150 converter. So the math, what's that work out? $435 I've got in the car now, actual cash money, and I haven't even put gas in the tank yet. So that's literally what's in the car. Today, I think I'm just gonna clean it up some. It's got some ugliness. There's some tint that is peeling away. I got it kind of soaked in PB Blast because that helps with the stickiness. It's got some ugliness with the bumper right there. So yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, clean it up a little bit and try to make a decision on the car. I like the car. It starts, it drives, it smells real bad. So I figured let's cure what I can. And I think I've got a center console that I can put in place of that. And then while I'm cleaning it, that sometimes makes the decision on a car, guys, is when you're kind of just fiddling with it, you either learn to love it or you learn to hate it. So I know I love two-door Civic hatchback, 5 speeds. I don't know if I love this one. All right, so I got a little ambitious, and I got the subframe out of this car. The header, I just bolted on quickly. I actually moved it over to this other lift to pull the subframe out. I started looking at it and going, you know, this doesn't look very hard, and I've got time to do it, and the car's already inside, and it's raining today, so that was really the deciding factor. Is this car's dry, and look how bad that was right there. It's just eating away. So I've got a new subframe for this car, and like I said, it's kind of even the reason why I got the car in the first place, is I knew I had the major part to fix it. And that's right over here, collecting dust. There's some motorcycle parts, some Harley FL stuff that's all for sale on eBay. That's what all those boxes are for. Helping out Joe get rid of some stuff he's had cluttered around. But here's the good subframe. Oh, I got a good T-bracket even. Look at that. Yep. Rack, hopefully it's good. I don't really want to swap that over. I have to shut the camera off and eat my Wheaties. Get this thing moved over there.